Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Voice of Crypto's podcast, where we talk about all things crypto, Web3, and blockchain. And in today's episode, we are going to be taking a look at XRP's price action as well as XRP Whale Holdings, which have supposedly surged a bit. And once we take an in depth look into that, we will also be taking a look at the top news as well as top price action from the cryptocurrency market. So stay tuned if you want to stay on top of crypto news updates as well as alpha from the Web3 crypto and blockchain space. Now, without further ado, we will take a deep dive into the crypto market to see how top cryptocurrencies have performed in the last 1 day or so. And soon after that, we'll be jumping into an analysis of how XRP prices performed. The global crypto market at the time of this session is about 1.62 trillion US dollar, and it's down by over 1% on the daily, which means that on a 1 day perspective, the global crypto market cap has dipped by a little over 1.5%. Crypto market volumes were tad bit up yesterday. They're still maintaining the above 60 billion US dollar mark. However, this doesn't necessarily mean that there was a lot of buying. It could also signal towards selling in the market, as we can see on a daily for a lot of cryptocurrencies. There are not a lot of gains, but we'll talk about that shortly. Before that, I'd like to also mention that Bitcoin dominance saw a 0.11% rise in the last 24 hours. It's finally above the 51% mark. What this means is that there's more capital entering Bitcoin than altcoins. That's what an increase in Bitcoin dominance essentially means for the crypto market. That said, if we take a look at Bitcoin's price, we can see that it is down by a little over 1%, um, a little less than 1%, actually 0.75%. But we can clearly see that Bitcoin is ranging between the 42 to 43K US dollar mark. We can take a quick look at Bitcoin's weekly price chart. It had dipped to the 40K zone, made a quick recovery from there, and has been oscillating in the 41.9 and the 43.7 US dollar mark. So for Bitcoin to clear this resistance, the 43.5K resistance, we will need a strong move above this particular level for BTC, of course. On a week on week basis, Bitcoin has increased by almost 5%, which isn't bad. However, the lowered volatility can clearly be seen in this range bound movement that we've seen for Bitcoin. And we often see BTC test this 43.5K resistance and drop right back. And like I already mentioned, for BTC to clear this particular resistance and range back up to the over 46K mark would need a very strong move from bulls in the short term. That said, Ethereum price isn't doing much in the market currently, down by over 1% on the daily. And BNB, pretty much like ETH, not doing much. But ETH's weekly gains have been clearly reversed. There's a mere 1.45% gain that we see for ETH on week perspective. BNB, on the other hand, we can see making a tad bit more gains as compared to ETH at the moment. Solana is managing to keep up the over 7% gains on the weekly, but we can see a bit of downfall for Solana on the daily as well as the hourly perspective. XRP is currently down on a price perspective on the short term, long term, as well as on the short term, that is the daily and hourly perspective, and the mid short term, which is the weekly perspective. We can clearly see that in the top 10 cryptocurrencies by market cap, not a single crypto is at the moment making gains. In fact, if we expand our list and take a look at the top 20, again, not a lot of gainers. ICP is trying to break the momentum with its 1% gains, but In the crypto market, 1% gains hardly make the cut. Monero is doing rather well. We can see over 2% gains on the daily and over 7% gains on the weekly. And we're already aware that privacy tokens generally trend upwards when the larger market is trending lower, which could be why Monero is at the moment rising. Stellar, not a lot to look forward to. Same goes for Aptos. So, all in all, we do not see a lot of gainers in the market. In fact, volatility is down. There's not a lot of cryptocurrencies or a lot of altcoins making strong moves in the market at the moment, anyway. That said, despite lowered volatility, there are a lot of um, news pieces that can be looked at carefully while price maintains a lowered volatility. And talking about news in terms of, there's a lot happening in Germany. In fact, very recently, we at Voice of Crypto did an in-depth article about how around close to 2 billion was seized by German authorities by a piracy ring, and this 2 billion was sort of seized in Bitcoin. So this was one thing that sort of once again tarred the cryptocurrency's image. However, Germany banking giant DZ is set to pilot crypto trading this year, and this is a recent news by Bloomberg. So, despite all of these things happening in that particular geography, there are positive developments happening in the crypto space or related to the crypto space. In another news, Binance is sued by the family of Hamas victims and hostages. The plaintiffs, who are also suing Iran and Syria, say that the crypto exchange facilitated the financing of Hamas and other terrorist groups between 2017 and 2023. Families of these hostages and victims of Hamas and Israel are suing the cryptocurrency exchange. The complaint is filed in the U.S. District Court of the Southern District of New York. It was filed on Wednesday and was brought on behalf of the United States citizen who were murdered, maimed, taken hostage, or otherwise injured in unspeakable acts of terror perpetrated by Hamas and other terrorist groups in the state of Israel on October 7, 2023. In another news, ARK Invest says that optimal Bitcoin portfolio allocation for 2023 was 19.4%, and the optimum allocation is up from 0.5% in 2015 to 6.2 in 2022. BTC is an effective diversifier and also counterbalances the traditional assets as a lot of big firms are seeing an optimal allocation in an optimal allocation of investment portfolios into Bitcoin, of course. Kathy Wood's ARK Invest wrote its annual Big Ideas report for 2020, and Bitcoin made just a little under 20% of allocation in their portfolio. In another news, of course, India keeps a stiff tax on crypto still, as the interim budget was revealed today ahead of the election year. Expectations were low for a change in the stiff taxes on the crypto taxation. The crypto taxations in India still weigh about 30% tax on profits and 1% on TDS of all transactions. And India has not issued any change to the controversial tax deducted at source policy that is affecting the crypto industry at large in this particular region. This is the end of our news section, and we'll now jump right back into our top gainers and losers of the day. Despite the market's low volatility, quite a few cryptocurrencies saw a surge. Leading the race was, of course, Ronin, with over 7% gains on the daily, over 28% on the weekly. Monero, over 2% gains on the daily, over 7% on the weekly. Mina Protocol, almost 14% gains on the weekly, a little over 2.5 on the daily. Same goes for Raptors, 2.5% gains on the daily, over 7% on the weekly. Chili's is making a bit of rebound with its over 2% gains on the daily price chart. Bitget token was doing well, um, and so was Internet Computer, but not a lot of gainers in the market at the moment. Jupiter saw a massive, massive dip in the last 24 hours, and we all know about the fancy Jupiter the Jupiter airdrop that happened, and the airdrop saw price at a high of around 1.2 US dollar, but at the moment there's a 60% drop, and prices trading at about 0.6% for this particular crypto. Say token is also down on the daily. So is Conflux, Frax, FTT, of course. Then there's OKB, Sui token, Manta Network, Multiverse, X's, EG, LD token, and Near Protocol. So these were a few of the top losers of the day. On a weekly perspective, we can clearly see SETS and Ronin leading the race of weekly gains. Top weekly losers are Jupiter, FTT, and Maker, as well as Mantle and Aave. These are cryptocurrencies that are down bad on a week on week perspective. And before we wrap today's news alert, we will take a quick look at XRP and why exactly a lot of people were eyeing XRP. Well, the reason was that the on chain tracker service, Whale Alert, noted three large transactions that have been spotted on the XRP network in the last 24 hours. And when a lot of large transactions happen, it's usually due to a lot of whale movement for that particular asset, and it's um, it's not clear as to how much XRP was moved, but there were transactions involving over 50 million worth of XRP transfers from wallet, and while there was a lot of whale movement happening for XRP, what was expected was that it will lead to a bit of drop for XRP price before it could rally, and that's exactly what we're seeing in the market at the moment. We see XRP price down on the daily as well as the weekly. So we shall wait for XRP to get back in momentum. And with that, I would close today's session with a quick disclaimer, that being, none of what we say in these sessions or what our guests say is financial advice. So make sure that you always do your own research in the crypto market. And DYOR is the mantra to success. And none of what we say on this channel is financial advice, guys. So um, do your own research as a thumb rule in this market. This is all for today. We'll see you tomorrow at the same time with fresh updates from the crypto, blockchain, and Web3 market. Until then, bye bye.